Hello, Hola, Konnichiwa, Salaam. Ciao Namaste. Peace to all. This is Soulology, the science of the soul. And what we're discussing for today are 10 reasons. 10 reasons as a soul in your experience why you may not be finding love right now. And let's start off with simply this. As a species, many of us desire to connect with someone, to deeply feel, in a sense, that we're not alone, that there is much more to this than meets the eye, that we can connect with someone. And for many of us, we might not be finding what we want. And to first start off, the reason you might not find what you want is due to the lesser term, of course. So we are constantly chasing, looking, trying to find love. Love. But here may be the reasons why you are not finding love. The first reason, number one, you're not focused on your own self. And you might think, well, what does that have to do with finding love in my life and whatnot? When you are focused on yourself, minding your business, you'd be surprised of the people who show up in your life out of nowhere. What you resist persists, what you look at disappears. If you stop resisting the fact of not having love in your life and worried about that and thinking, oh my gosh, like I can't find love, I have to have it, as though it's like candy for a child. When you stop focusing, when you look at it for what it is, and you see it, and you realize it'll come when it comes, all the ideas, all the situations will disappear, and all of a sudden people will start coming to you, desiring to be around you. But when you are focused on yourself instead of focused on others, you'll see it happen. It has happened so many times to me in my own experience, it literally surprises me. It still to this day surprises me when it happens because of the fact of I've noticed whenever I stop focusing on something and I just leave it alone and I focus on myself and I'm focusing on my crafts and I'm focusing on my work and I'm focusing on what I desire and love in my life, all of a sudden someone's like, well, hey, can we go out sometime? Or, hey, I like you. Or, hey, you're kind of cute. Or whatever it may be. But I notice it always happens when I stop focusing on it. Number two, judging who you are. Stop judging yourself. Seriously, many of us may feel we're not good enough because of the fact that's why people don't want to be with us or whatnot. That we're not special, or it's because I'm not like this, that's why he likes that person, whatnot. Be who you are. But first and foremost, be the highest version of who you are that you can be and choose to be. No one is perfect in this world. No one. No matter the situation, no matter the actions they take, no matter how their past or who they were in that moment, No one is that way. So always choose to be your highest self and love who you are. Don't judge yourself for what actions may have been taken or not. Because there are some people we're around, or even with ourselves, that leave us being toxic. It just means you have to be willing to work on yourself and change that. And of course, observe that. That does not mean judge yourself off of it, but simply if you see that type of toxicity within self, if you see those types of things within self, then change it. But for people who just feel that way because maybe there's not love in your life, don't judge yourself for it. Please, if anything, I would say, please always, always, always have patience with self. Have patience with yourself. Love yourself. Know thyself. Heal yourself. There's no reason to judge who you are. Even in my experience, I admit I used to judge myself. But when I stopped judging myself and start working towards what I love and start realizing how amazing I really am and started telling myself how amazing I truly am, I stopped judging myself and I start working on who I am as a person and loving who I am. Don't judge who you are. Love who you are because you deserve it. Number 3, chasing others. Chasing others. When you're too focused on chasing others instead of focusing on yourself. Like we were saying earlier, what you resist, you will persist. When you are chasing after others, you most likely won't get them. Or you might get them, but it might not last long. When something is naturally meant for you, it will just naturally come together. You have a conversation that comes so natural instead of you feeling as though you have to get that person. You have to talk to them and be like, hey, I'd like to go on a date or whatnot. And so, of course, that does happen. Don't get me wrong, but it can be natural. And you might be thinking, well, then what's the difference between chasing someone like that and something natural, in a sense? When you're chasing someone, sometimes it can be difficult because you can go through hundreds of people trying to be with them or talk to them and whatnot, and they don't want to be with you or they don't desire to talk to you. And you might be thinking, what's wrong with me? And there's nothing wrong with you. It's just not meant for you. But when someone is meant for you, when you feel it, and you go up to them and you talk to them and you're just having a conversation, and it's very natural, that is naturally meant for you in your life. But when you're so focused on trying to make that happen and everything, you end up like a dog chasing after its tail, going around in circles. Unless you find someone, in a sense, that connects with you. And that's what I mean. When you resist something of that nature, makes it much harder for it to coexist and be created in your life. So stop chasing. When you feel that someone is worth the time or is something you feel connects to you to that person, you will naturally just go up to them and talk to them instead of having to force yourself to talk to people just to get their numbers, just to talk to them, just to go on a date with them or whatnot, but actually just know them. Number 4, when you're not minding your business. Mind your business. Many of us are not minding our business when it comes to love because we may be too focused on finding it. So, let me keep this very short for this part right here. In my own experience, when I've been focused on minding my business and working on me, is when people have entered my life and people into your life when you are more focused on yourself. It is an interesting thing, but it does happen. When you are more focused on who you are as a person, people swarm around you like bees to honey. Focus on who you are and mind your business to create what you desire, because, of course, it starts with you. Focus on the self, love the self, and care for the self, because when you are caring and loving the self, you are able to give that to another. Number 5, health. Taking care of your health is very important. And some people might think, do you think that my weight has to do with someone loving me? Oh no, that's not what I think at all. Do not get me wrong when I say this. It doesn't matter what size you are, you can always find love in your heart. This has to do with self. Loving self and taking care of self. And making sure you're okay with who you are. You see, when you are exercising, for example, and you're taking care of who you are as a person while, for example, physically working out, your energy is boosted up and everything else and so on and so forth. And you feel good about yourself. And the point is to make sure you feel good about yourself. When you get into relationships with people, there are times where we may not feel so good about ourselves. We may think we're not good. And it can lead to unnatural emotions such as rage at a person because they may be talking to someone who we believe looks better than we do. It might be for the fact that we're insecure about our own emotions, about how we feel about ourselves. And making sure you're secure about who you are starts from within. And taking care of your body is one part to that. Making sure you're healthy and you're happy with how you look and your energy is good and you are smiling and happy. Number 6. Betrayal of the self. Many of us will try to get with people just to be with someone because maybe we're lonely or we're bored. And what do I mean by betraying the self? Betraying the self means you are more focused on someone else and being in a relationship than making sure that you are okay. You're more okay with doing things for other people than making sure you are happy with who you are as a person. Making sure you are loving yourself. You're more okay with what a person you're with says to you, even if you get into that relationship or you're talking to someone, than making sure you're okay with who you are. Betrayal of the self in order not to betray another is still betrayal nonetheless. It is the highest betrayal of self in creating who you are as a person. Focus on yourself. Don't betray you just to be with someone else to be happy and so on and so forth, but love who you are first. It starts with self-centering who you are. Love thyself, know thyself, care for thyself in order for you to grow and care with another. Number 7, your mental and emotional, being mentally and emotionally stable within who you are. It is okay if you're doing physical work and everything, like I said, that is one thing. But you also have to make sure up here is okay. Here, this entire energy is okay. If you are not mentally sound, anything, no matter how good you may look, will not sound good. You will still be uncomfortable with self. You will still not feel comfortable. You will feel that you're not good enough. And you are good enough. You are great enough. You are amazing enough. And that has to start with looking yourself in the mirror and loving that person that's in there. Caring for you first to make sure you're okay, and making sure to understand your very own emotions within self. Many of us don't look to understand our emotions because we're going through everyday life. And we're not trying to focus on ourselves because we're doing this, and this. Focus on working on the self and making sure you're okay with who you are. Focus on taking time with yourself. Whether it means maybe you like to garden, or whether it means going for a walk, spending time in nature. Take time to yourself mentally. Meditation is a part of that because of the fact that when you meditate, it doesn't complicate. It helps in stabilizing your emotions and understanding your emotions of self, of who you are. Number 8, are you even happy with who you are? Are you happy with self? If you are in a relationship and you're not happy, and I've met people over the years in my experience who um, will say, I've been depressed all my life and I don't know why. And they're not happy with themselves, and they may be in relationships or whatnot. You have to be willing to be happy with yourself first, if anything. And maybe that might take time. I know in my experience, there have been times where I had to take time to myself and been happy with me. There were times where I was in depression. And I had to slow down and really love me for me. Be happy with self. Take time to who you are and love who you are before you get into relationships. And even if you see that, that's why people may not desire to give you that love, because of the fact of that type of energy. Love yourself, take time to yourself, and it'll help you grow in having confidence in you. Number 9, do you understand unconditional love with no conditions? It starts with you. Unconditional love with no condition, no judgment, no arguing with who you are as a person and saying you're not good enough or whatnot. When you see the goodness within yourself and you unconditionally love who you are, you will see it within others. You will give it to others. Love who you are so you can give that energy to others. Unconditional love starts with you first before you can give it to another. To say I love you to another can be empty if you cannot give it to yourself. When you are unconditionally loving to yourself, you can give it to the other person because it's within you. Love who you are in order to give love to another. And number 10, are you even ready to have a relationship? You might think, yeah, I'm ready. Why wouldn't I be ready? I just can't understand why I can't find love in my life. Ask yourself again, are you really ready? For many people, they're not ready for a relationship. For many, it can be a difficult task and they have to think and backcheck and really go through everything I've just literally stated and put into the comments right now. What is something you feel out of all these things you probably should work on? Check to understand if you're even ready for a relationship and really focus on yourself. Ask yourselves those questions. Go down the lines of what we even talked about today and think, am I really ready to be in a relationship? If you're not, that's okay. If you are, that's okay. It doesn't matter. They're both great. But focus on self and loving who you are to be able to go further and get the love you deserve. Be the love you deserve. Know that there is love that will be in your life, and realize how amazing, how beautiful, how magnificent, how divine you all are as the gods, the goddesses, and the creators within. So to everybody out there, have a good morning, a great afternoon, and a fantastic evening. To everybody, peace and namaste.